Okay guys, ran out of battery on that last video, but I was at the end anyway. I saw the light go off on the camera, so I didn't keep talking after that. Alright, well, now that we've got that off our chest, right? Clowns that talk too much. That's probably what I'd have titled that video. Clowns that talk too much. You know. But anyway, next up this morning is, well, let me tell you what I've been up to. You know, I've been chopping firewood and all that sort of stuff. Chopping firewood, cutting firewood and everything, you know, getting everything sorted out outside. You know, that's the thing, is you got to keep ahead of the curve when it comes to winter. I know it's spring, but you got to keep ahead of the curve, especially when you grow a lot of your own veggies, you know, like I do. That's kind of what I'm into right now these days, is making sure I got healthy food to eat, right? Which a lot of people are getting back to, and I'm thankful for that. And that people are becoming more aware of their food and doing something about it, you know. We need to get rid of all these ridiculous alphabet agencies that try to impinge upon our rights as people around the world to have healthy food, you know. We need to take care of people like Bill Gates, get him out of the picture. And he needs to be put under control, because he's just out of control. He's a man with too much money and too many crazy ideas he wants to implement on everybody else, you know. It's one thing it's one thing to have crazy ideas for yourself, but when you try to make everybody else, you know, follow along with those crazy ideas, you know, like Klaus Schwab with his transhumanism, you know, I don't want to be a Borg. You know, God created me the way I am, and that's the way I am. I've always said, for a lot of years now, Jesus will take me home when he's ready. I don't take any medications for anything. I don't even hardly take like aspirin for a headache or ibuprofen or any of that. Yeah, I don't get into any of that. If Jesus wants me whole, he'll keep me whole. If Jesus wants me to expire tomorrow, I'll expire tomorrow. If Jesus wants me to expire in 2 years from now, I'll expire in 2 years from now. He'll keep me healthy. He'll keep me going. You know, that's the way I see it. Yeah. Alright, so now that I've spent about 5 minutes, you know, waffling around on that, on this and that, I want to talk to you about the wool watch cap, right? The wool watch cap is a military, it's a piece of military kit, you know. It's a headgear that is very, very popular, not only with military and former military, but it's, you know, it's popular with explorers and whatnot. Look at old Jacques Cousteau, you know, him and his whole crew wore watch caps all the time. They were red, you know, safety red or whatever, but they wore wool watch caps. Well, I wear watch caps. Wool is just something that doesn't wear out. It's antimicrobial, so it doesn't smell after a while. Easy to clean, just take it off, dunk it in some water, you know, kind of you know, shake out the water a little bit, let it lay out to dry somewhere, drip dry, and then, you know, put it back on. And it doesn't get real dirty anyway, because wool is self-cleaning. So if you don't know that wool is self-cleaning, that's one of the reasons why it probably is the way it is, you know, the way it always seems to be the same. When you move a wool fiber, it has these large scales in the hair fiber. Okay, when you look at other hair fibers, you don't see those large scales like in wool. Now, when you move a wool fiber, hair fiber, those scales move around, and that movement ejects dirt from the hair scale and the hair, or the hair strand. Okay, so the scales help to like self clean the fiber, right? It just dirt here and dirt there goes. Well, anyway, I saw something that I wanted here a while back, and they keep going out of stock, but I'm gonna let you guys in on it. It's a wool cap, right? Now, I hadn't seen these in a long time, but then I saw, remember I was talking about the surplus companies and stuff a few weeks ago? So at OneThiefSurplus, he constantly is having to replenish these because they're popular. But as the genuine government issue 100% wool Jeep cap. So I got one in. I wanted to get four. And they had one left, and I got it. And I called up my buyer, and I said, I wanted some of these caps. Did you order them? No, not yet. How many do you want? 4. Come back. One left. So buy it. So they let me know it was in. Went and picked it up. Alright, so 100% wool government issue Jeep cap. Now, I thought, man, that looks really like the same factory as the one that I wear a lot on the channel, which is this one. And it is. The same numbers and all that. It says cap, knit, watch, 100% wool, and then it's got the NSN number and blah blah blah, and then it says made in USA. So anyway, basically what I believe is they take this and they just put a visor in there and sew it in place, because there's a line of stitching right there. Okay, so yeah, there it is. There it is. So you got you a little visor. It's not much, about 2 inches, right? Okay, so it's got about 2-inch visor. So that's nice little thing, and I wanted that for winter time. Snow gets blowing, you know, keeps the snow out of your eyes. Still wool. Yeah, so I wanted to tell you guys about that. So that's at OneThiefSurplus. So check them out online. It's always got something good or interesting there, right? So that's one of the places that I like to kind of keep my eye on. Another place is if I'm looking for a pouch to serve a specific need, the first place I generally look is L.V.I. I've talked about them before. L.V.I, they got a lot of pouches, and that guy's got an eye, you know, also. Both these guys, they got an eye for good quality product, not something that's all wore out. You know, a lot of stuff is either like new or in new condition, you know, so have a look. Starting to get very green out there. I still got to deal with old man Willow. He lost his head in the last storm, so the very top of the tree. It either got broke off or lightning struck it. But I'm going to have to get an extension ladder up there. Climb up there and have a look. Clean him up a little bit. Maybe trim off some extra stuff to, you know, just to get him sorted out. And I'm thinking about the top of that tree that came down, you know, turn him into bow drill sets, you know. So if any of you guys are interested in any bow drill and a bow drill set from Old Man Willow from my backyard, let me know. Basically, that would be a hearth board and a spindle, you know. You provide the bow. And as far as, you know, as far as the piece goes in the handle, or in the hand, you know, to hold the spindle, you know, there's so many devices on the market now, you know. Just buy one and have it for all your bow drill sets. Like, I got one of those SE steels, and I generally have wool. I will generally have wool gloves and leather gloves for the field, or at least leather palmed gloves. You know, when it comes to summer, then you start doing bow drill. Oh, that thing, I've heard that they heat up. Now, I haven't used mine for bow drill yet. I've just kind of had it around and, you know, played with it a little bit here and there with the fire steel. Yeah, that's what I've heard. It gets a little warm. You're trying to do bow drill with the SE tool. You know, you should be carrying some leather gloves in your kit anyway when you go out. It's just a smart thing to do. Dealing with the fire and whatnot. I have a set of leather gloves. I just call them my fire gloves, you know. They're set up, you know, I mean, when I set up my kit for cooking and fire, I always have leather gloves, you know, for that. Dealing with the hot mug, anything hot, you know, just put on the leather gloves, you know. Don't try to do it with your tactical gloves, you know, just have a designated set of thicker leather gloves. I got some Wells Lamont leather gloves. They are insulated a little bit for winter, so that helps to insulate also against, you know, hot things, right? Well, we are out of time, guys, but I thought I'd talk a little bit more and, you know, a little bit chit chat there, and I thought I would, you know, fill you in on that Jeep cap, that wool Jeep cap, which it says watch cap on the inside. It's basically it's a watch cap with a 2-inch visor. I still want to get some more. I want to get about 3 more. Something like that I could have in reserve, you know, because the time's coming. Even if you are not preparing for yourself, like, you know, I believe that the rapture is the rapture of Christians is going to be soon. Like I said, between 2023 and 2027 is when a lot of very biblical things are going to be happening, you know, and the rapture is probably going to be in that time period. So people, other Christians have said, why do you prepare this and prepare that? You know, like I get extra food and whatnot. First of all, when I grew up, it was a smart thing to have extra food on hand, because if you got snowed in and couldn't go to the store, you still have to eat, right? But the thing is that you get raptured, because there are Christians that know the rapture is fake, blah, blah, blah. You know, but when the Bible says otherwise. But, and then non-Christians, they say, well, if you know that this rapture thing is happening, why do you have all this stuff? Well, you know, there's this section of time called the Great Tribulation period, and it's going to be very rough. So if the stuff isn't for me, it could be for someone else later that comes along that needs a bite to eat. Get what I'm saying? So don't just prepare for you, you know. I mean, think ahead. You know, other people will come to Jesus Christ during the Great Tribulation. They'll figure out that they had been wrong about things, and they'll need to make it through. See you later.